Hey guys, welcome back to 2 Minute Coder. Today we're doing Leetcode problem 621, which is task scheduler. So just take a moment to pause the video and read the question. Alright, so what we're going to be doing here is we're going to use a bunch of data structures. Alright, but I guess the first thing to do is, because our task length is going to be 1 or greater than 1 and n can be 0, right? So if the cooldown time is 0, then we know that our output should be the length of tasks, right? So if n is equal to 0, return task.length, right? Because it just means that we can do each task in one cycle. So it's just the length of those tasks. All right, now what we want to do is we want to make a max heap, and this max heap is so we can see which tasks are the most frequent, so we can tackle those first. Then we also want to have a cooldown queue, okay, because once we do a task, we need to see when is the next time that we can do it, right? So it goes into a cooldown stage. And then another data structure that we want to make is a integer array of frequencies so that we can add to max heap, right? This max heap I'll call task schedule. Okay. Yeah. So we make a priority queue of integers, call it task schedule for task scheduler, and this is going to be a new priority queue. But by default, Java makes each priority queues a min heap. So in order to make it a max heap, we can use a lambda function, b minus a, right? And now to make another queue, so this is just going to be a normal queue. It's not going to be a heap, right? It's going to store a pair of integer and integer, and we'll call this cooldown, or we'll just call it CQ for short, right? Cooldown queue. And a queue is nothing but a linked list. All right, so the key to this is going to be the remaining frequency, and the value is going to be time to cooldown completion, or time at cooldown completion. Okay, so to first make our integer array, let's call it frequencies, and it's going to be 26 places long because there are 26 characters in the alphabet, right? And for each character, we'll call it freq. In this frequencies array, we will increment C minus capital A, right? Yeah. And now to add these frequencies to task scheduler. All right, and this is going to go into the max heap because we want to tackle the most frequent tasks at the start. All right, so we're going to loop through. So for each int num in this frequencies array, if num is greater than 0, which means that those tasks exist, then we can add it, right? So we can add it to our task scheduler, this num, right? Okay, now that that's done, let's and we have our data structures in place. Let's loop through both task scheduler and the cooldown queue. All right, so while our task schedule is non-empty, or our CQ is non-empty, sorry, we are going to do our operation, right? Because our task scheduler may be empty, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the things in our cooldown queue are empty, right? So that's why it's an OR operator. Now, I forgot to initialize a current time variable, right? And each time we go through this while loop, our current time is going to increment. All right, so if this task schedule is non-empty, we are going to pull from it and call this the remainder time or remainder frequency, right? And this is going to be the top element in our task scheduler. Then once we've taken it out, right, we've pulled it already, we will decrement its frequency, and then we'll also check. So if this remainder frequency is greater than 0, then we add it to our cooldown queue. Right, so cooldown queue, add a new pair, which, as I already said, the key is going to be this remaining frequency. So remainder frequency, and then our value is going to be time where the cooldown will be completed, right? And that's going to be nothing but the current time plus whatever n is passed into this function, right? Great, so now once that's done, we have to check our cooldown queue. Okay, and in this cooldown queue, we have to check if the top element is cooled down, basically, right? So first, see if it's not empty. So cooldown queue is non-empty, and this value, right, is equal to current time. So we do that by peaking at its top value, right, and then getting the value in that peak, because in this peak we are extracting the pair, and then in the pair we have to get the value, right? So if this is equal to current time, then that means that that element has cooled down and we can add it to our task scheduler, right? So task schedule dot add cq dot poll dot get key, right? And then outside of this while loop, let's just return current time. Let's run this, check if there's no errors. Cannot find, oh, yeah. From int care, what have I done here? Ah, it's gotta be in task, right? Another one. Yeah, I completely messed up this line, but It's an easy fix. All right. So now let's submit. And great. Okay, so this was kind of a long solution, but it's very logical if you can just write down these comments of what steps you need to do, and then you can write the code for it, right? So that was Leetcode problem 621. Hope you guys enjoyed, and subscribe for more.